Doesn't get any more official than that, does it? So now it's a fact that Brian Kohberger actually does own a white Elantra. It'll be interesting during the court case to find out how they demonstrate the white Elantra in the CCTV is the same white Elantra that Kohberger's driving. This appears to be the same traffic stop, but from within inside the police vehicle rather than from the body cam.
I stopped you when you were driving by me there. You're a little too close to the back of that semi. About one car between you and the back of this trailer. We're about one car for 10 miles an hour, so we're going 60 or 70 miles an hour. We're about 6 or 7 cars. So, oh, you guys did?
Yeah, and said that so
you guys stopped by a trooper? We don't have any SUVs. It was a county guy. Was it like a black SUV?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You thought you guys were following too closely? Okay.
What happened at WSU when my son goes to school?
Today? Well, I'm not going to give you guys another ticket or warning if you just got stopped. Just make sure you give yourself plenty of room, okay? So like I said, it's all about how fast you're going, okay? So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you only need one car. Or if you're going, so the speed limit here is 7. If you're going 70 miles an hour, you need 7 cars. Yeah. That's the easy way to explain it. Right? Yeah. Okay. It's really, in the B&B mail, it says 2 to 3 seconds. All right. You guys have a safe trip. Where y'all headed?
Thank you so much for the time.
Where y'all headed to? Huh? Oh, where at? Yeah. It's a long haul. You guys scared of airplanes? Did you? Okay. All right, well, hey, you guys have a safe trip.
Thanks,
See you.
sir.
A couple of things that I noted. First of all, have a look at his expression. Does he look worried? His dad's squinting because he's looking up into the sun. But to me, he looks worried. Usually when I get pulled over by the police, I'm not entirely sure what I've done wrong, so my eyebrows will be up, questioningly, wondering what the heck I did wrong. Especially if this is my second stop on the same day. So questioningly or alarmed might seem the natural response here, but he looks really worried to me. Also, have a look at the state of his car. It's pretty damn dirty, so he doesn't wash it very often, and he certainly hasn't washed it since the murders. Now, because I live on a dirt road out in the middle of nowhere, there's not really much point in washing my car very frequently. So in these conditions, it would take about 3 months for my car to start looking like this condition. Anyway, the point is, he didn't wash that car after the murders. So right now, while this policeman is looking into that car, it is full of evidence. Anywho, fact number 1 is now corroborated with police body cam. The white Elantra is indeed the vehicle that investigators think the killer was driving, as opposed to a passerby who may have had information about what they saw that night. If he admits to being in the area and his phone data shows he was in the area, then that doesn't necessarily make him automatically guilty. This is just circumstantial evidence. But many cases have been won on an overwhelming amount of circumstantial evidence. Finally, look at the distance between his car and the truck in front. That's not exactly what I would call tailgating. The officer said that you want at least 1 car length for every 10 miles of speed you're travelling. So if you're going 50 miles, then you want 5 car lengths between you and the vehicle in front. And you know, that looks to me about 5 to 7, I guess, car lengths between his vehicle and the truck. So this makes me wonder if tailgating wasn't just an excuse.
Recording.
Hello.
How you doing?
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. You were right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay. Cool. Where are you headed?
We're going to actually, well, we're coming from WSU, and we're standing early.
What's WSU?
Yeah, I go to the university basically. They were listening to this incident that was occurring up there. There was a shooting incident. That is SWAT team and everything.
So we're, okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University?
Yeah.
And you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours we're driving. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
Yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything. We don't know if it was a mass
Where?
shooting. This was on essentially what ended up happening was
Sounds good. Interesting.
well, it's horrifying because he's to go to the university, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh,
PhD in criminal
okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened this evening. About an hour and a half ago, they're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's 2 shooters because they did shoot somebody.
I see.
And then we don't know about that actually. They were there, they were shooting out of the window or something.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
Oh,
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I tried to play with the audio a little bit and muffle out the traffic noise so you could hear what they were saying a bit better, but I'm not sure it made that much difference. But what I did notice is, if that police officer was there to get images of his hands, then he didn't do a very good job. Who knows, maybe he didn't realise his arm would be in the way the whole time, but when he does step back, Brian is actually hiding his hands. Although he does wave them around a little bit while they're talking. And others noticed that he passed the license with his right hand and then retrieved it with his left hand. I'm not really sure if that means anything, and to be honest, I wouldn't even like to speculate what that means. It really doesn't look to me as though he is obviously nervous about showing his hands. And he looks considerably less worried at this stop than he does at the next stop. Also note, the quality of body cam footage is not really conducive to imaging the hands, even if the officer was conscious of his arm blocking the camera view. Of course, there's every possibility it's better quality than reporters have uploaded to YouTube, but I'm still not sure it's good enough quality to zoom in on those hands and get a really good idea of any marks or scratches on them. Still, I'm not seeing the validity of tailgating as the reason for them pulling him over. Maybe both officers failed their mission to get good imaging of the hands. That seems plausible to me. What doesn't seem plausible is that they thought he was tailgating, because that's a heck of a lot of distance between his car and the truck in front. There's a whole bridge between them. So, according to the arrest affidavit, the bolos were issued on the 25th. That's a full 10 days after these traffic stops, and it says they were only issued to the local area. But what I find interesting is that the day after the incident, one of the housemates witnessed the perpetrator leaving the house. And in this police footage, we can see that his face is definitely in these camera shots. So the question is, were they following the Elantra all along and asked the police to get some facial shots and to verify that he does meet the description given by the witness? Or was it the other way round? I.e., these traffic stops were recorded in the system and then the detectives decided to get the body cam footage to see what they showed, and they actually did show his physique and description as per the witness statement. So if we're going to rule out opportunities for appeal, or the defence claiming, hey, you got the wrong guy, which it seems like they're going to do, then you probably want to stick to the latter logic. I'll talk more about the phone data in the next episode. In this episode, I just want to put the basic points forward that identify Brian Kohberger, let's just say circumstantially, at this particular point in time. So for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to say that the traffic stops were total coincidence and that the state is using them to verify that all their data collection showing Brian Kohberger as the killer matches the description shown in this body cam. Even though it doesn't look like he was tailgating, and this makes me doubt that that's the order things actually worked in, it's still a legal strategy, and a pretty good one at that, so we'll just assume that that's the case. Rather than reading through the arrest affidavit word for word as everybody else is doing, I'm sure you can switch to their channels if that's what you want. What I'm going to do is just summarise what I got from the affidavit that I think will make it very, very difficult for Brian Kohberger to claim they've got the wrong guy. And it's not just one piece of evidence on its own and then another piece of evidence on its own. These are a culmination of pieces of evidence that corroborate each other and prove a number of things. First of all, we know that the Elantra appears in multiple CCTV footage from all over the place around King Road, or the crime scene if you prefer. We've seen from the body cam footage that the driver matches the witness's description. We also know that the phone data matches the CCTV footage, so any complaints from the defence that phone data's not a true and tried way to triangulate a person's location kind of falls apart because the timestamps will match the CCTV footage. The same vehicle is then seen speeding away from the crime scene in the CCTV footage. And then there is other evidence, much of which I don't think we're actually seeing in this affidavit. And the reason that we're not seeing the full collection of evidence is because we are not at the trial stage. It's a lower standard of evidence to reach the conclusion that this needs to go before a jury, where a higher standard of beyond reasonable doubt applies. At the arrest stage, we just want to see that there is probable cause to arrest this particular person. And I do believe that that's what this affidavit does show us. The best timeline summary that I have seen so far coming from the affidavit has been from Hughes' channel. Now, I have seen in the past people take content from Hughes and claim it as their own, as if they were the ones that discovered certain things, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give Gray full credit for his own work. I enjoyed watching this video, I enjoyed watching the animations that he put together, and I want to share them with you in part. And if you want to go and see the full video, then I will put his link in the description. But this is just a quick rundown of the timeline that he's put together.
So I made a little video. Forgive the crudeness of the animation right here, okay? This is when the Jordache got there. Right around 4, so it probably drove like this, pulled right in, and, you know, obviously then the person has to go to the door. I don't know if they pay when they get there, or they probably pay in advance and they're just really dropping it off. So, you know, let's just say he pulls out of there at 4:02, right? So he backs out, and then he drives this way. Now, keep in mind, at this time, the white Elantra, aka Brian Koberger, was driving around the neighborhood since 3:29 all the way up until 4:20 is when he's seen leaving. All right, so he's driving around. He probably knows that there was a Jordache, or a DoorDash. I keep saying Jordache. A DoorDash driver that drove by there, right? So you probably know that he was aware of that, and he needed to wait for that person. Now let's go back. Right around 4 o'clock, the white Elantra comes in, and it parks. It does a turn over here, because if you remember on the probable cause document, it says that it turned around at 500 Queen Road, number 52. I was trying to figure out where number 52 is. I even called the apartment. They won't tell you. But I think it's right here. And you know why? Because remember how there was a surveillance camera right on this building right here? And it films right like that. I mean, it's amazing how it points right over here. So that means when this Elantra came in here, it turned around, came out, and right here it paused for a minute, and it was trying to turn, and it couldn't do it. I think he was trying to turn up this road, but it's a really tight, sharp turn. So then ends up driving over here and does a 3-point turn, comes back around, and then drives up and parks up there, okay? So watch it. It's really poor animation here. I just kind of quickly put it together, but just picture it right over in this area, turning around, and it's caught on this surveillance camera right here. It was caught coming in on this camera at 4 o'clock, and I didn't have it paused, but right in this area, it struggled to park, and then it drives to Queen and King Road, does a 3-point turn, and that's caught on that camera, and then probably drives up here and parks the vehicle right up here, okay? So that's where it parks the vehicle, and let's just say it was 4:05, I'm going to guess. You know, given the fact that it was here at 4:04, struggling, and then went here and up here, probably parked at 4:05, that time frame. Does that make sense?
Okay, so let's get a real world view of what Gray was showing us there. This is Brian Enton at News Nation.
Okay, so we are at the back of the house where the murders happened. This is the house right here. You can see the police line is still up. I've shown you this parking lot before. There's this big parking lot right behind because there's an apartment building right over there. But we wanted to show you what's even further back behind the house. So follow me. You walk to the back of the parking lot over here, to the very back corner. And there's this trail right here. And you can tell that other people have walked on it before because the snow is packed down and there's footprints. So possibly students walking up to the neighborhood up above. You come around the trail here. It sort of loops around right by the backyard. Through the trees right here. To this fence line. And basically the little trail continues to loop around. I don't want to go in the backyard of the people who live back here.
So that's what it looks like up there, where Gray showed us the vehicle ended up according to the CCTV and the phone data. And it would appear that Brian Enton was pretty close to the mark. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if the killer actually did use this path that Brian's showing us, although bear in mind, when the murders happened versus when Brian Enton is there was a lot less snow around previously. So taking that route would have been a lot quicker than it's taken Brian to take that route, because he's treading through the snow and it's probably pretty slippery. Anyway, that's what the affidavit tells us, and with the help of Gray Hughes and Brian Enton, we can now see that visually in the real world. So those are my key takeaways from the arrest affidavit. I won't be going into any detail with the arrest affidavit, but if you want to, I do recommend Emily D. Baker or the lawyer you know. For reputable people with real information and real insight into the legal process, rather than listening to gossip and tabloids. In the next episode, I'm going to describe a couple of scenarios which are similar in nature, and I'm going to describe how I reacted at the time, not how, looking back on it now, I might have reacted, but how I actually did react at the time. And this addresses a common element currently circulating the tubes regarding hindsight bias. So tune in to the next episode to find out more.